Democratic womanism. You ask me why I smile when you tell me you intend in the coming national elections to hold your nose and vote for the lesser of two evils. There are more than two evils out there, is one reason I smile. Another is that our old buddy Nostradamus comes to mind with his fearful 400-year-old prophecy that our world, and theirs too, our enemies, lots of kids included there, will end by nuclear Nakba or Holocaust in our lifetime, which makes the idea of elections and the billions of dollars wasted on them somewhat fatuous. A Southerner of color, my people held the vote very dear, while others for centuries merely appeared to play with it. One thing I can assure you of is this: I will never betray such pure hearts by voting for evil, even if it were microscopic, which, as you can see in any newscast, no matter the slant, it is not. I want something else, a different system entirely, one not seen on this earth for thousands of years, if ever. Democratic womanism. Notice how this word has man right in the middle of it? That's one reason I like it. He is right there, front and center, but he is surrounded. I want to vote and work for a way of life that honors the feminine, a way that acknowledges the theft of the wisdom female and dark mother leadership might have provided our spaceship all along. I am not thinking of a talking head kind of gal, happy to be mixing it up with the baddest bad boys on the planet. Her eyes a slit, her mouth a zipper. No, I am speaking of true regime change, where women rise to take their place en masse at the helm of Earth's frail and failing ship, where each 1,000 years of our silence is examined with regret, and the cruel manner in which our values of compassion and kindness have been ridiculed and suppressed, brought to bear on the disaster of the present time. The past must be examined closely, I believe, before we can leave it there. I am thinking of democratic and perhaps socialist womanism. For who else knows so deeply how to share but mothers and grandmothers, big sisters and aunts, to love and adore both female and male, not to mention those in between, to work at keeping the entire community fed, educated, and safe. Democratic womanism, democratic socialist womanism, would have as its icons such fierce warriors for good as Vandana Shiva, Aung San Suu Kyi, Wangari Maathai, Harriet Tubman, Yoko Ono, Frida Kahlo, Angela Davis, and Barbara Lee, with new ones always rising wherever you look. You are also on this list, but it is so long, ISIS would appear midway, that I must stop or be unable to finish the poem. So just know I've stood you in a circle that includes Marian Wright Edelman, Amy Goodman, Sojourner Truth, Gloria Steinem, and Mary McLeod Bethune. John Brown, Frederick Douglass, John Lennon, and Howard Zinn are there, happy to be surrounded. There is no system now in place that can change the disastrous course the earth is on. Who can doubt this? The male leaders of earth appear to have abandoned their very senses, though most appear to live now entirely in their heads. They murder humans and other animals, forests and rivers and mountains every day they are in office and never seem to notice it. They eat and drink devastation. Women of the world, is this devastation us? Would we kill whole continents for oil or anything else, rather than limit the number of consumer offspring we produce and learn how to make our own fire? Democratic womanism, democratic socialist womanism, a system of governance we can dream and imagine and build together, one that recognizes at least 6,000 years of brutally enforced complicity in the assassination of Mother Earth, but foresees 6,000 years ahead of us when we will not submit. What will we need? 100 years at least to plan. 500 will be handed us gladly when the planet is scared enough, in which circles of women meet, organize ourselves, and allied with men brave enough to stand with women, nurture our planet to a degree of health. And without apology, impossible to make a bigger mess than has been made already, devote ourselves, heedless of opposition, to tirelessly serving and resuscitating our mothership, and with gratitude for her care of us, worshipfully commit to rehabilitating it.
Alice Walker, democratic womanism in this election year. What are your thoughts on what should happen in November?
Well, what should happen in November is that everyone should make the very best choice based on their own values. And that is, recognizing that there is so much evil, everywhere we look. Still, choose what you think is best for our course of action. But have a thought about the long-term survivability of the planet and start to put the health of the planet before everything else, and to then have leadership that reflects that.
What are your thoughts on President Obama today?
Well, I continue to care for President Obama and for his family. I think that in many ways they are very courageous people, and I honor that because I know what it means to live as a black person in a racist America. But I cannot feel good about drone strikes. I cannot feel good about bombing people. I just don't believe in war. I think it's stupid. And I think that he is so smart that it's a waste of his intelligence to pursue peace by making more war. It does not make any sense.
And on this 30th anniversary of the color purple, your final thoughts today to leave us with?
Well, I think that, life is abundant and life is beautiful, and it's a good place that we're all in, on this earth if we take care of it. And if we can just turn to our inner guide rather than to the outer guides who seem to always end up fighting somebody, we'd be a lot better off.
And the books you're working on now?
Well, I have 2 new books that'll be out in the spring. One is called The Cushion in the Road, Meditation and Wandering, as the whole world awakens to being in harm's way. And the other one is a book of poems called The World Will Follow Joy, Turning Madness into Flowers.
Well, I want to thank you, Alice Walker, for being with us for this hour, as you were 4 years ago, and as you were not so long ago after the killing of Trayvon Martin, talking about a woman who didn't live far from and died not far from where Trayvon was killed, Zora Neale Hurston, whose gravestone you have now refurbished to put her in the eye of this country to remind us of who this great author was.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. And that does it for Democracy Now! I want to encourage people who live in New York and Los Angeles. Harvest of Empire, the film based on Democracy Now! Co-host Juan Gonzalez's book, is out. It's opening in New York at the Quad Cinema and in Pasadena, California at Lemley's Playhouse. You can go to democracynow.org for the details and to see my interview this week with Juan and the filmmaker about the book. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Burke, Renee Feld, Sarah Mate, Nermeen Sheikh, Steve Martinez, Sam Malkoff, Hani Massoud, Ravi Karen, Dina Gezder, Amy Littlefield. Will be in Charlottesville, Virginia tonight at the University of Virginia on our 100th City Tour. Tomorrow, that tonight is at Now Auditorium, South Lawn Commons, University of Virginia. Then Saturday at 1 at the Green Festival in Washington, D.C. The Baltimore Book Festival at 7 p.m. Saturday night. Sunday at noon in Richmond, Virginia at 7 p.m. In Norfolk, Virginia, wrapping up our Virginia leg of the tour at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg Monday night before heading to Denver for the first presidential debate. And then we will be all through the Western Slope, then moving on to Arizona, New Mexico, California. Check our website, tour.democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman in Washington.